velvet voice. Ooh, yeah. Slide on in. You're now tuned in to the Black Death 101 podcast, where the streets talk and the reels roll. This ain't just a podcast, baby. It's a revolution with rhythm. Now let's get into it.
Welcome to the Black Death 101 podcast, where the streets talk and the reels roll. We dissect our favorite blaxploitation films that saved Hollywood and still influence it today. I am your host, Nubius Black, and giving him 5 on the right-hand side is my brother from another mother, Johnny Deth.
Hey, Nubius, and to all our listeners, welcome back to Black Death 101, the baddest syllabus on the airwaves. This is episode 4. Today, we dig into the vault for the firestorm that was coffee.
Coffee was amazing, and if you like your coffee black with no cream or sugar, then this is the episode for you. But before we get going, please like, subscribe, share, and be forewarned that this podcast uses racially charged language. And if you ain't down with that, we have 2 words for you. Go home.
Dive-ass turkeys.
But yes, Coffee. This was the show, the movie that put Pam Grier in the spot. You know what I'm saying? She was in the spot. She did a lot of stuff. And to get noticed, like, how can you not notice her? But yeah, this was her coming out party. And it was a hell of a coming out.
It's 1973. At this point, the marches had slowed. The fire hoses, they weren't making the nightly news so much anymore, but don't be fooled. Racism had not vanished. It got slicker. It smiled through the studio gates and whispered behind closed doors. You see, Hollywood had clocked the profit potential of the black audience. Shaft had busted things wide open. Superfly dropped a Curtis Mayfield-scored Molotov cocktail. Studios wanted in. Fast, cheap, and funky. But they didn't want to invest in black stories. They wanted to exploit them.
They wanted to exploit it. They didn't want to put the money into it, like you said, to invest in it. And they still came out taking chicken shit and turning it into chicken salad. She was literally a female black Punisher, for lack of a better term. When you think of the Punisher, Marvel Comics' Punisher, Pam Grier is the Punisher, and nobody looks at it like that. But that's a fucking fact. She went in there, woman with a mission. It was a personal mission. And if you don't have personal conflict in these type of films and these type of events, even in TV shows, if there's no personal conflict, you as a fan will not get invested. But she had a very, very personal conflict. Tell them the overview of this film.
Well, the overview is Pam plays a nurse, but she isn't just a nurse with a grudge. She's literally street justice in heels. Her sister, her 11-year-old sister, has been hooked on pills by the pusher man, Sugar Man. And our film opens with Pam picking up Sugar Man in a club, getting in his car, driving back to his place, pretending that she is a junkie in need, and he and his driver, Grover, take her home, and things don't quite go as Sugar Man was hoping.
No shit.
Pam didn't sneak onto the screen. She literally exploded onto it. Right when Sugar Man thinks he's going to get something, she blows his head off. She puts a hole right through his face with a shotgun, and his driver, she makes him OD. That's some cold shit.
That's some cold shit because, again, it was a personal matter. I mean, any other movie, the scene would have cut after the shotgun blast. Bad enough it was a double-barrel shotgun to the face. But to make the driver OD on the same drugs that her sister OD'd on, that Sugar Man was selling, you know, it's a lot of poetic justice in it. You don't have to like it or agree with it, but you understand it. And Pam Grier's, like you said, her character she was a nurse. She was a healer. She got that job because that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to heal people, and she was dating a cop, and she wished he wasn't a cop. So she got turned off by him being a cop because a lot of blacks and underserved were being killed by cops and harassed by cops. And she took that shit personally. So that's when she started dating a guy that had lofty goals of being a congressman, saying that he's going to change the system from within. Needless to say, that's not all he had planned.
No, it's not. And the congressman, played by the great Booker Bradshaw. And there are a lot of faces in this movie. So she's killed Sugar Man and his driver. The next day, her buddy Carter, the cop that she has dated on and off since they were kids, tells her about it and says something fishy about it. He thinks that the mob that's moving in and taking over the rackets and the drugs, maybe they had something to do with it. And when he's telling her about this, he lets slip that the head of the mob moving in is a guy named Vetroni. But you
Wow.
know what? We should probably talk about the director on this
Oh,
film.
yeah, the director. You can't get the film with just Pam and the actors alone. I mean, she had some really awesome direction.
She did. Jack Hill was a white director from UCLA Film School, same class as Francis Ford Coppola, but he went a different direction. Hill found a home in the world of low-budget genre films, biker flicks, women in prison movies, drive-in fare. But he brought real craft to it. These films, they had structure, rhythm, and most of all, character. Crucially, he knew how to write women. He got the call for this movie. AIP was ready to buy a script and go into production on a film called Cleopatra Jones. And at the last minute, the guy with the script, the producer, got a better offer from Warner Brothers. And this pissed off AIP. So they gave a call out to Jack Hill. They had seen some of his women in prison films that he'd done for Roger Corman. And they said, look, we need to move fast. We want to get this film in the can right away. Are you interested? And not only was he interested, he brought in Pam Grier. Because in 71, Jack Hill directed The Big Dollhouse, a woman in prison film. It was shot in the Philippines. It's hot, it's sweaty, it's cheap, it's raw. But one actress pops off the screen. Pam Grier played a tough, no-nonsense prisoner with presence, with poise and power. And she didn't just deliver her line. She really owned every scene she was in. And Jack Hill saw that Pam wasn't just a supporting player. He felt that she had that leading lady heat. So
And
when he got tapped to direct the Big Birdcage in 72, he brought her back, gave her a bigger role, and this time she shared the spotlight with Sid Haig, but you couldn't miss her.
yeah, you couldn't miss her. You couldn't miss Sid. And again, Jack Hill, the movies, like you said, he took the little bit of money that he got, and he went from Coffee, and then he did Foxy Brown, and before all that, he did Spider Baby, and he did the Switchblade Sisters, and the Big Birdcage and the Big Dollhouse, basically the same movie. But the fact that he could pull out such and these very outlandish pictures, he can pull out these personal moments where these actors they act, and a lot of people don't pay attention to it. They look for the TNA, and I get that because that's what I did. Everybody did, but you'll see real acting, you'll see real emotion, and then in the context of the film, you start to pity this person. Sure, this person is blowing people in the face with a shotgun or shooting somebody's dick off because that's what's happening. But at the same time, after seeing some seriously violent shit, Jack Hill is cool enough to be able to weave that emotion in there where you go, oh damn, man, she's mad, she's upset, she's doing these things, but there's a reason for it. And then she looks like she's literally regretting that she had to go this far. And that's what made Jack Hill a great director, because he could bring out the acting in this film and any film that he worked in. And that's a fact. He's very underrated, especially coming from the class that he came from.
His partnership with Pam Grier, I think it's one of the most important collaborations in 1970s cinema, period. And Coffee was really where it all clicked. So she has a date with her boyfriend, and she learns that he's going to become a congressman. And she's in love with him, and he tells her, "You're my woman." But she also knows the system doesn't always work in these cases. So she decides she's going to go after King George and work her way up to Vetroni and take out everybody.
And King George was just an incredible character in itself.
He's amazing. He walks onto that screen in those clothes and with that song, that George, he's a king.
He's a king.
He's Mr. Clean. He's on the sea. Just so great.
He's wearing animal prints, chains, a fucking cape, a giant hat. He was every stereotypical pimp rolled into one cool package. I mean, he wasn't the pimp that slapped women around. If you notice that, he didn't resort to violence. Even when the girls acted a fool over jealousy over Coffee when he brought her into the fold, and the girls actually fought her, and Coffee beat up all the extra hookers, which was amazing. And King George was like, yeah, baby, I understand. He was the most understanding pimp ever.
He was likable, and in this movie, everybody, whether it be the villain, say a pusher, pimp, a cop, they all wear a face we recognize, like faces
Right.
from the neighborhood, faces from the news, and Coffee, man, she goes through them like a one-woman wrecking crew.
No shit.
Pam Grier didn't play tough, she was tough. She didn't act the part, she owned it. She embodied it. Every glare, every swing, every explosion of grief or rage was electric. And there's something to her performance where when she's doing the acts of violence, it's almost like she's entering a dream state. You can see in her eyes that she's almost watching herself do it. And that's something that I think Jack Hill and she brought to this film. Jack Hill, just another word on him. I've always felt that his direction reminds me a lot of like Warner Brothers 1940s gangster films.
Yeah, like Public Enemy and stuff like that.
Yes,
Very
yes,
crime noir.
economic, very much so. Just excellent stuff. And it's Pam's presence and the fact that we care about these people, whether it be King George or Coffee, we care about them that made this more than just a revenge fantasy. It really made it real. And Pam did all her own stunts. And you mentioned this is the first female action revenge hero, Black, but it's also the first time that there was a Black stunt coordinator. That was Robert Minor. Robert Lee Minor was the name. And he handled all the stunts in that movie. And the one problem they had was for the first half of the movie, they couldn't find a Black stunt woman. And then they finally found her about midway through shooting. And she's the woman running across the highway. In pretty much every other scene, it's Pam Grier. And she ends up posing as a Jamaican prostitute to join King George's stable. And she gets into it with King George's girlfriend. There's a great fight with all the girls.
Oh my God, the fight was awesome.
It's hilarious. That avocado salad getting dumped, those drinks that had what looked like Cool Whip on top of them, just nutty stuff.
Yeah, she should have got stunt pay. Yes, sir. Everybody did. And like you said, the writing and the directing of Jack Hill were Booker Bradshaw's character of being he went from being the most kind, understanding person ever. And then when you finally get that switch, you go, you motherfucker. Because it really fucks with your
Oh,
emotion.
yeah.
And if you're doing that, that's what makes a good film. You can't just sit there and go along for the ride and be told what to think and how to act. These movies, if you pay attention and erase all the stigma that these blaxploitation films have, 90% of these films, the acting, they're not phoning it in. When Pam Grier is saying things, you can hear when she's upset, the stutter in her voice, the softness. She has this deer in the headlights looking eyes when she's killing somebody. Like you're saying, she's having an out-of-body experience. And it ain't like she's being snarling, because we're in the age of snarling. We're in the age of Charles Bronson, snarling, never changed his face. Clint Eastwood, snarling, never changed his face. All those cats, and those cats is cool, but they dudes. We don't expect to see this fine, sexy, dare I say, Amazonian woman do the things that she's doing, because you don't expect a woman to do that. But she was pushed one time too many. And then when she gets to the end, god damn, you go, wow, that's fucked up. But you go, but I understand. You know what I'm saying? And then going back to King George, the actor playing him, Robert DeQuee, I believe that's his name. Everything he plays with such gravitas. I hate to use that word, but how many times do I get to use the word gravitas in a year? 3? I just used up my 2 gravitases. But he was just so cool about shit. And then when I was, you get older and you go, wasn't that the guy from RoboCop? And you go, oh shit, he was the chief
Yeah.
of police on RoboCop. And he brought that little role to life.
He did. And just travel us a little further through the story. She goes off with Vitroni and he makes her crawl and he's spitting on her and she has a stuffed animal and out of that stuffed animal, she pulls a piece with a silencer and calls him a white motherfucker. And we're all thrilled that she's going to take this piece of shit out. And quietly behind her, Sid Haig
The ninja.
disarms her. Yeah. Yeah. Sid Haig wasn't just a ninja, man. He was a chameleon. He
Right.
could play anything.
Anything. Sid Haig was exactly the word you said, chameleon. I mean, he could play a Hispanic guy. He could play a white guy. He can play shit. And the Big Bird Cage, I thought he was black because he was wearing like African print clothes and he was very, very tan being in the Philippines in that heat. That's my first discovery of Sid Haig. And who would have thought his career would just go as far as it went? Because he did all kind of shit. People know him as the clown in the Rob Zombie films, as Captain Spaulding, but he did way more stuff of that shit. He did way more. And when I finally you squint your eyes, you go, I know this guy from somewhere, and you go, holy shit, that's Draco from Star Command that came on CBS when you was a kid on Saturdays. Who'd have
Oh,
thought?
yeah. He was a bad guy on Jason, Star Command. Wow. Man.
And he's in a lot of other films. He has such presence, and it kills me. I don't even it's almost like they're second-class citizens when they call an actor a character actor, and you go, hold up, aren't all actors playing characters? You know what I'm saying? So don't sit there and try to diminish what people like Sid Haig is laying down, because without him, a lot of these films would go the way of the dodo. You know what I mean? I mean, he was so good. And again, he ended up getting soft at the end. He still was a villain to the very end, but he got soft at the end. And when he finally showed that he was, showing some emotion and that he showed that he was caring, and then you go, whoa, maybe it was because he thought he was going to get some sex out of this deal. Come on, he's a guy. What do you think? It could be one or the other. But needless to say, didn't work out for Sid Haig, but he was a great heavy in this film. And what he did to Robert DeQuee's King George, the most violent fucking death in movies. I'm sorry.
I can watch anything. Violence, I was raised on it. But King George getting the Lynch style dragged by a noose from the back of his own car, man, that got to me.
No shit. I'm surprised Eli Roth and Rob Zombie didn't steal that little spot there. Because, yes, they driving around. He's laughing. And then he's got Studs, King George's former bodyguard, sitting in the car. And he has to watch this shit and take it.
Yeah.
And it was really, really, wow. It was really violent. I mean, I don't look at that scene and see I don't see a dummy. I see a real man being dragged like that. And then who would have thought a couple decades later that would happen for real down south, where some poor black man walking down the street gets dragged by a bunch of white dudes in a car. Same fucking scene, dude. Same scene. So that's when you go, fantasy becomes reality.
Yeah, but COFFY wasn't just fists and fury and shotguns to the head. It had something to say about drugs in the black community, about corruption in politics, about respectability, politics and the illusion of making it. COFFY's boyfriend. Well, before we get there, because we've already mentioned it. So COFFY gets disarmed and they want to know who sent you because they don't believe she would act on her own. And she tells them King George, and that's why King George gets dragged.
Right.
So another one taken down. And from there, they take her in the car and they go to shoot her up with heroin. Unbeknownst to them, she switched out all of King George's heroin for sugar. So they give her a pop of sugar and she pretends like she can hardly stand up, like she's just gotten a great hit of heroin. And Sid Haig takes her out to have a little nookie time with her. Yeah. And our girl, when she was locked up, waiting to find out how they were going to kill her, took a bobby pin out of her hair and sharpened it into a razor. Sid Haig is getting his pants off and she takes out his neck and jugular with this bobby pin and then takes off.
Incredible scene. And it was the violence was very realistic in that scene. And you can see where Sid goes from villain to almost carrying that he's ashamed that he has to kill her, but he figures, well, I might as well get my rocks off while I'm here. And then when he gets stuck up and she stabs him in his jugular vein, you can just see he just devolves into a child where he's like, please, somebody help me. Please help me. And the crooked cops was like, fuck you, you're on your own, dude. And they just left him there to bleed out. Really messed up. And then we can talk about, she didn't have a big part, but Jerry was one of King George's main bitches, as he would say, played by Lisa Farringer. And she was in all of these films, be it background. But she played basically the same character, the crazy blonde prostitute chick. But when she fought Coffee in one scene that was turning on Arturo Ventroni, she, Coffee beat up all the hookers, and then Jerry jumps on her back and grabs her by the hair. But Coffee had fucking razor blades weaved into her fucking wig that sliced up her hands. And I'm like, yo, that is some diabolical shit. I thought that was one of the coolest things ever.
Okay, you have to restate that, because actually the girl who gets her hands bloodied up in that fight is Linda Hayes as Meg, one of his other
Meg,
girls.
yeah. As they say in the old school, y'all all look alike. Shit.
Man.
But yeah, the Alan Arbus, the villain, the white dude with the Jufro, because that's what they called him. I didn't make that shit up, so don't get mad at me. But he had the whole afro. This guy was like, he was always everywhere, and he played in MASH. He was a psychiatrist. He was a famous photographer. He did a lot of stuff in his time.
He was enjoying watching the girls fight.
Oh, yeah, he loved that shit until it was his turn, getting shot in the fucking swimming pool.
Coffee takes him out in the pool, and we're not ruining everything. There's still so many surprises
So much.
in this
We are
film.
jumping. Trust us.
Yeah. So she's taken out everyone, but okay. Let me step back 1 second. So she comes in and they've got her and they're going to kill her. And who walks in? Booker Bradshaw, her boyfriend, the congressman. He is as dirty, if not dirtier than the gangsters. And when she realizes that, she doesn't cry. She acts. The final shot, she goes back to his beach house and she walks in there, and he comes down the stairs and suddenly sees her there in the chair with her shotgun. And she's looking at him and she's kind of crying and saying she's not mad. She just wants to know why. And he starts telling her, look, this way we can get the drugs and we can get them off the street. And she starts to buy into this. Man, I was screaming at the TV set. Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to this guy.
And then Lisa walks out of the bedroom.
Yep.
And it's all over.
It's all over because she was almost there. He almost hooked her. And then who shows up? The same chick, Jerry, that was King George's main girl, is now with Howard. And Howard was trying to talk his way out this shit. And God knows, I could think of better ways to die. I would never want to die the way Howard dies.
Shotgun blast to the nuts.
And we shouldn't be laughing, but hey, he deserved every fucking. He deserved every piece of buckshot going into his ass on that, because he was really fucking with this poor woman's mind, and he laid it in, and it was a violent scene. It was shown just enough that your imagination did the rest, and that's how these type of scenes should be. It was harsh, it was violent, and the weird thing is, Coffee didn't touch Jerry. She left her alone. And then Coffee just walks out to the beach.
She walks alone into the dawn, bruised, bloody, but alive. And this is I find it one of the most powerful endings of the era. There's no neat bow, there's no Hollywood redemption, just survival.
Yep,
and Pam
no
Grier,
speech.
Nope. Pam Grier became a movement. Coffee launched her into the cinematic stratosphere, and suddenly she was the moment. She followed this up with Foxy Brown, with Sheba Baby, Friday Foster, and in each one, she evolved from Avenger to spy to icon. She didn't
Right.
just break barriers, she literally blew them the hell down.
And even people like, people who took these type of movies and took them as popcorn fare, even someone who people call as a cinephile genius, Quentin Tarantino knew what time it was. He was raised on these films, and that's why he wrote Foxy Brown for her. And what was she in that?
Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown. I'm sorry. And it's the same thing. She was playing a powerful, strong woman, doing some pretty unscrupulous shit. But, she really wasn't looking for a guy to bail her out. And Robert Forster was there, but he was almost like begging to be involved. You know what I mean? It's like she really didn't need him.
He was smitten.
That movie is very underrated as well.
That's a great movie. That might be Tarantino's best film. And blink and you'll miss it when she's in court. Who plays the judge? Sid Haig.
Sid Haig. Yes, sir. And that movie was
Tarantino
loaded
knows
with
his shit.
stars. But they didn't outshine her. Think about that. Think about that. She played in that movie, Jackie Brown, and she was in scenes with other actors who are way more famous than her that didn't overshadow her. Bridget Fonda, Robert Forster, Robert De Niro. Come on, Robert fucking De Niro,
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson, Michael Keaton, Chris Tucker. Oh my God. A little Zeus, Tiny Lister, Sid Haig as the judge. There were so many stars in that film, but it was written about and for her. And she was not taking a back seat even in that film. And she didn't have to run around half naked or nothing. It was just like her aura, her power, her light.
Her quiet dignity.
That's a good
and her
word
light.
for it. Showed right out. I mean, I think Tarantino's, in my opinion, in a lot of stuff, he gets a little too much praise. But in this film, I think he found that happy medium. And I agree with you on that, that it's one, even with the soundtracks in this film, I think this was one of his better ones.
Yeah, tell us about the soundtrack.
Or on Coffee? Coffee
Yeah.
soundtrack was the shit. My God. Coffee soundtrack was played by one of my favorite musicians ever. I mean, he did the title track as well as everything else in the film. Roy Ayers. Oh my God, Roy Ayers, the king of the vibraphone. This guy,
Yeah.
he just set the tone. And like we spoke in past shows, if you got a good soundtrack, that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. A lot of the heavy lifting is being done by the soundtrack, and he did so much stuff. I mean, Everybody Loves the Sunshine. That's a classic. Searching, Love Will Bring Us Together, You Send Me. All these songs, put it this way, if they weren't any good, they wouldn't be sampled by all these hip-hop artists. I think they said Roy Ayers' number, like maybe in the top 4 of artists that was sampled, second to George Clinton. You know what I mean? People
Yeah.
like that, Roy Ayers was the shit, man. And he recently passed away in I want to say in March. Yeah, he passed away this past March. And he was playing even till before he passed away. So he was awesome. And the music, again, it tells the story. It doesn't linger. Because there's a lot of shows you can watch and you can just hear that same song play over and over again. And it's like, damn, do they got any other song? But Roy Ayers' music in this, it told the story. It told the beginning of what coffee was and who coffee was. And then it ended, not with a big bravado, but with a soft ballad. Like you said, walking into the dusk, sun's coming up, ocean waves lapping. And it leaves you, the watcher, the person watching the film, what's left for coffee? What is she going to do? Is she going to go to jail? I mean, because let's face it, she left a lot of bodies everywhere. Is she going to get her job? I mean, did she lose her job as a damn nurse? Who knows? Then you got, is the congressman, are they going to quietly bury him without a nutsack? I don't know. Because if they do, they're going to have to bury him with King George. But it's just I love this movie because and then when you reminded me, because I did not remember this as a young man, I didn't know that Cleopatra Jones and Coffee came out roughly the same time.
Oh yeah.
So they were basically doing the old Marvel DC shit, Pete, way back then, and they're both great movies. That's the thing that kills me. That great movies, different premise, different type of film. And I think they both reached the audience. I think, obviously Cleopatra Jones had more of a budget.
Oh yeah. COFFY had a budget of about $500,000. Cleopatra Jones had a budget of $3.5 million.
Wow.
But some of that goes to that studio overhead at Warner Brothers.
That and the fact that there was, in Cleopatra Jones, a lot of car chases, wardrobe changes, explosions. She was literally a female James Bond, but we're gonna get to that film in future episodes.
In fact, we'll probably cover that next because where did we just go? Didn't we just go into
Yep.
PA to the middle of nowhere for
We
something?
went to the middle of nowhere. Oh my God. I was surprised because I'm thinking, Johnny Depp got me going out here and I'm gonna be the only black person here. And it was the old school theater where you couldn't get comfortable in the seats with some nice stale popcorn. But we went there and we had a great time. And there was brothers and sisters there that we met, and they were down with the cause of Blaxploitation. It was fantastic. We're gonna get them on a podcast eventually as well.
Yeah, Blaxploitation double feature of Black Belt Jones and Cleopatra Jones.
Yep, we were running with the Joneses last week, and I enjoyed every bit. It was fun. I can't wait to go back there, and I really can't. I mean, because they're going to do a lot of different things, and I forget the name of that town.
Wind Gap.
Wind Gap, Pennsylvania.
And the theater is the Gap Theater.
The Gap Theater. Not the Gap Band, but the Gap Theater. Yeah, it's old school from everything from the, what do they call that? The lighted sign?
The marquee.
Yeah, the marquee was all done in greens and pinks and shit. It had that feel. I mean, it couldn't help but have that fear because it only held so many people in there, but it was great. We had a good time. So,
And it was a big screen, great
Man, what was that?
projection, and 35 millimeter prints. Oh my God.
But all the scratches and the shakes, oh, I loved it. So yeah, we had a
It
really
was
good
just a
time.
perfect night. I have a question for you. How is it that Pam Grier never got married?
I think she says she was working too much, but I know she didn't have kids because thanks to Richard Pryor, when she was dating him years ago, she didn't realize Richard Pryor was putting cocaine on his wiener. So when they was getting intimate, he was basically injecting her with cocaine. And when she was feeling kind of sick, she went to the doctors, and the doctor was like, "You got cocaine poisoning. You need to go to your OBGYN." And she's like, "Why would I need to go to an OBGYN for cocaine poisoning and I don't do cocaine?" So they did the check, and they found all kind of cocaine inside of her body where it shouldn't be. Not that cocaine needs to be in you, but I digress. Richard Pryor was, he was a special case, but we'll get to him eventually soon. But yeah, she never got married. She never had kids. And who would have thought sweet, sexy, strong, powerful Pam Grier, when she retired, she would open a fucking horse ranch. And she now raises horses, which I think is so fucking cool because it's so out of pocket with the characters that she played.
She has a spirituality, and I find people that work with horses have a calm within them. And you know what? That calm was on display in Jackie Brown. She is one of my favorite actresses, bar none, has been since I was a teenager. Well, for obvious reasons.
Right,
But
right.
man, right. And what are we doing next? You want to do the double feature?
I say we do the double feature next since it's fresh in our minds. Running with the Joneses is what the episode will be. So yeah.
Sounds good to me. And then maybe after that, a little Truck Turner.
Oh, Truck Turner's great. Just with the crazy pimp in that movie is just insane. But again, we hope you liked this episode. I enjoyed watching this movie again, and it really brought back a lot of memories. Pam Grier, she's an icon. That's a good word to use with her. She is an icon without a doubt. She was so unique to look at. And again, next week, we're going to talk about even more unique. If you can get more unique than Pam Grier, we're going to get there. But we really enjoyed doing this movie with her. COFFY, her breakout film. Come back and see us. We really appreciate you guys listening. Like I said before, like, share, subscribe. Go to Facebook. We opened up a Facebook page. We got T-shirts out there. If you cats want to get some T-shirts, just send a self-addressed name, and we'll get a T-shirt out to you. $20. That's all it costs. T-shirts, $20. And the money goes to my dog's college fund because he's dumber than shit, and we're trying to get him smart. Gizmo would really appreciate it. I don't know if your cats need any education, but Gizmo needs some education.
No, my cats are fine. They are just fine.
And if I should happen to pass away and you don't hear from me, Gizmo ate me. he loves me, but he's got to eat. So with that, we would like you to come back next week. Same black time, same black channel.
Peace.
Peace.
She walked in with a pistol and a twist of style. Afro shining, lips curled in a cat smile. From Foxy Brown to coffee with that boom bap strut. If trouble showed its face, she'd light it up. She served revenge with a cold, cool flair. Took down a whole mob with just her glare. She's a queen on the screen, no fear in her eyes. Kicking down doors in her platform highs. With a shotgun soul and a tiger stare. Ain't no one funkier than Pam Grier. Sheba, baby got that southern heat. Rolling in a caddy, never missing a beat. Friday Foster had a lens on lock, taking names and photos all around the globe. When she swung that purse, you knew it was war. Sugar, spice, and a whole lot more. In a world of jive, she brought that truth. A goddess of justice in go-go boots. Before Tarantino tried to make her Jackie, she was already